All right, guys, here it is. The all-new Tamron 50-400 4.5 to 6.3. Check out these images. So as you can tell from the sample images, not bad, a very good all-purpose lens. Now, in terms of image quality, the bokeh is pleasant considering its aperture range. Now, this lens is quite sharp, but if you're looking at flaring, it's well controlled, but sunburst, this lens is mediocre in that regard. I'm not a big fan of zooms that cover so much ground because you always feel there's gonna be some compromise coming into play. Tamron has done a pretty good job of this. 35 to 150 f2.8 lens was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, people still swear by that lens to this date, and I think a lot of wedding photographers, videographers, photographers are using that lens because it just gives you so much reach. Now, this lens is not quite there yet, 4.5 to 6.3. It's basically competing with the 100s to 400s out there. Tamron's saying it's lighter, it's smaller, it gives you more focal range starting at 50 versus 100, and there's no denying the numbers. But I will tell you in day-to-day usage that I did feel the weight of this lens. It's still a very hefty lens. It's well built, a little bit better built than some of the other Tamron smaller lenses out there. They're kind of changing the build quality of these lenses, which I appreciate. But you do feel it on your neck, wearing it around, with a strap around your neck with the camera for some time. And because it's so front heavy, and the Sony Alpha bodies are relatively small, I would definitely recommend getting a battery grip if you want to use this lens as a daily driver for your work. But I do think if you're a wedding photographer, events photographer, or if you do need a lens that's going to give you a lot of focal range, this may be something to consider. But that aperture, 4.5 to 6.3, may be a hindrance depending on how your light source is. Now, if you're daylight, no issues at all. If you're in lower light situations, you may find that noise is going to creep in because at 400 at 6.3, you're gonna get it. Now, I was shooting this kind of night concert here in Singapore, like good Thai performances on stage. Now, there was ample lighting from the stage, but even shooting in the crowd or even shooting people watching it, there's some noise creeping in. Of course, Topaz Denoise or whatever noise software that you want to use will alleviate a lot of that, but that is something to take note of. But let's talk about the focal range on this and talk about the aperture. You're gonna start at 50 millimeters at 4.5, and that's gonna go to the 69 millimeters. Then from there, 69 to 106 millimeters is at f5, 106 to 149 millimeters is f5.6, and 149 to 400 is f6.3. Also, if you want to talk about close focusing for a minute, because Tamron's been really good at that, you get a 1.2 magnification at 50 millimeters and also at 70 millimeters. So that's a nice attribute there. So if you want to do some close-up B-rolls on products that I shoot here once in a while in the studio, or even like flowers or whatever it may be, you might be pleasantly surprised with the results out of this lens. But in a nutshell, I think as an all-purpose lens, it's great. Now, if you do need something with a little bit, more of a pleasing bokeh, and you got enough depth of field from your subject to say the background, this lens is going to be more than adequate for a lot of you out there. If you're going to do some wildlife or birding shots with this, because it does focus relatively fast, right? You put this in APS-C mode. If you're using an Alpha 1, A7R4, even A7R3 that I'm using here, you're still going to get enough megapixels. You can even get more reach on this lens, and that's gonna be very impressive, and you're gonna get some beautiful shots out of that as well. If you like this video thus far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. More great content is coming your way. Take care, stay safe, and I'll chat to you soon.